His picture is on the front of here. He's on my friends list. He's one of Natalie and Alicia Bollinger's friends, and he's a fucking horrible piece of shit. I don't give a holy fucking goddamn what fucking excuses he makes. Found out the shit that he was typing on Natalie Bollinger's fucking Facebook after pretending all the bullshit ended at me. Yeah, that's gaslighting like a motherfucker, you pieces of shit. So why did I keep him on here instead of kicking him off? Because I need to turn his bitch ass in. Here's the thing, is that he doesn't have a right to privacy. He doesn't. None of them do. They gaslighted me and the fucking cops helped them. And I'm expected to no, I do not respect the fucking badge. About that fucking porker for shutting. There is zero possibility of her looking at just like Shannon Alvarado. In person, she's way worse than she is on the phone. Whoa. Shit. I just fucking littered. Not cool. So, I'm getting out of my vehicle and picking up the fucking litter. See, that's probably living in this fucking hellhole. If I have to... God damn it, that hurts. It's too fucking hot. I can't afford to fix my fucking car because the expenses of going to these mandated reporters. I try to explain to them what the expenses are. They won't fucking hear me. They're just going to interrupt me to tell me what. Oh, our services are free. No, the fuck they're not. No, the fuck they're not. Let's make sure we pick up the trash. We're not picking up all of it. We're just picking up mine. Oh, look, somebody else. This has been here for a while. It's almost the same kind of can. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to pick up all the garbage out here. Obviously, I'm not going to try to pick up all the garbage out here. I heard 2 cans fall out. I'm picking up 2 cans. And I'm making sure they're the cans that I dropped. I can't just run around all day cleaning up everybody's goddamn garbage for free and be victimized by these fucking trash mongers. I might not have heard 2 cans. It might have been this one bouncing once before I bounced out of my car. But I heard the sound. It's not back here. I'm almost all the way back at the rest area. Let's sorry. I didn't realize I pointed the other. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Looks like it's just one can. Fuck this goddamn country and everyone in it. Oh wow, what's that? Oh, it's somebody's electronic cigarette. Well, I am pretty sure that is not a NiCad battery. It's likely alkaline, but it does need to be thrown away properly. When you're an at-risk adult, these people don't do anything to help you. They do everything that they can to fleece you for your money. It doesn't matter what government agency it is. They will not do their jobs for a homeless person without a friend or family member who fucking gives a shit. Literally every single person who claimed to care showed that they did not. One of the situations I encounter frequently, not every person is like Lori, where you realize right away that you're literally never going to get heard. Where you literally have to talk over her so you can get heard. Like really, I only needed to ask her one question, but I ended up making a whole video because I knew what it was going to turn into pretty easily. Making a whole video about it allows it to show the whole situation and why she is not the best person to be going to for this help. That does not mean that she is a bad person. That doesn't mean that she's evil. The thing is that these are the people that I have to hope will help me because they're the ones who pretend I exist. She sees me, she stops and talks to me. Of course, I don't get to see any of my friends, so they're not going to stop and talk to me. Fuck, I left my goddamn car on the whole time. That's not fucking smart of me. I'm wasting gas I don't fucking have. Anyway, she ran an Alvarado, too fucking drunk to be of any goddamn use. She's about the same as Lori. She's just more volatile. I would say between Lori and Shannon Alvarado is a lot more volatile. Now then there's other people who you explain something to them over and over again, but they're so busy trying to wait for their turn to say something, it doesn't matter what you say, they don't care, they're bored. So they get bored with it. They don't look at evidence, they're just hearing the words. When you tell them that you're disabled over a dozen times in one conversation, and they still want to make the suggestion that you go out and get a job, they're not fucking listening. Tillamook. Alright, what's up? Number 5, assholes. St. Albans Episcopal Church. Oh, fuck, it's hot. So I will probably loiter in Safeway for a few. I'll try to start another video a little bit more organized. Because, you know, one of the things about Lori is that she's got a lot to say. The other thing is when we get her in her element, she's able to speak properly, whereas when she's here, like she was saying, she has to act crazy. She has to pretend to be crazy when she's in town and talking to people. She was also talking about, God damn it. Fuck. I can't get it back up there. It's fucking too heavy. She was talking about how some of the people in town, when they talk to her, when they talk to her normally or whatever, they're not used to her talking the way that she does when I met her over at the library, or when she was over at the hobo feed. A lot of stuff that people tell me to do. The problem is I can't do it from stuck on the streets. It's not fucking possible, and they know it. Especially with them lying about the laws. These people are supposed to help investigate crimes against us, not intimidate us for trying to turn the crimes in. Make sure my phone doesn't overheat. It's going to anyway, but holy shit. Oh. Fuck this goddamn country and everyone in it. Do I mean that? Well, yeah. Instead of police doing their jobs, I'm having to go to their victims for help. Their victims. Anyway, I've got a bunch of complaints. I'm only able to make oral complaints because I don't have a place to go through all of this fucking evidence and go through every fucking video to write every fucking thing down. I don't have a place to fucking do it. And don't tell me to go to the fucking library, asshole. Oh, Jesus Christ, where the fuck is my goddamn wallet? Now, by law, all of these mandated reporters are supposed to be trained. They're supposed to watch those mandated reporter training videos. Did any of them watch it, or did their new boss just sign off on it? Shit. Fucking goddamn it, that is not gonna work. Dig through every fucking thing, maybe there's something in here. They ignore the fucking crimes against me. Now you notice how Lori mentioned that she had pooped about 10 times in the conversation? Well, Brenda Dickinson kept on doing that. Before Natalie was killed, that's how Brenda Dickinson was acting. She was on drugs, but they're legal drugs. So the effects, you guys get to pretend don't exist, and that I'm a bad person for speaking about how, well, she didn't help me because of her own personal shit. But it's not her own personal shit, because she was a mandated reporter when I first brought this shit to her. Oh. Fuck. I gotta take a bunch of stuff out of my vehicle and throw it on the ground out here, because I have to try to dig out my wallet, because I can't purchase anything without my fucking wallet. Meanwhile, I'm stuck living in these conditions, not by fucking choice. You fucking pieces of shit. I was fucking victimized into it, and I had to do desperate things because, is Lori gonna help? No. Oh, sorry, sir. I believe she'll try if she's able to. I also believe that she'll probably end up having a memory lapse. Happens often. All right, yes, there is my wallet. You get to hear how people, instead of listening, they want to spout their ignorance at me and call it help. No, if you're gonna repeat to me what the cops told you, chances are the cops probably fucking lied to you, and you were too much of a dumbass to look the laws up. When they send you from one place to another, if they ever, at any point in time, are asking for your Medicare or Medicaid card, instead of calling Adult Protective Services immediately, then they are, in fact and indeed, breaking the law. If it results in harm against you, then those mandated reporters become felons automatically. Why is it these cops have fought so hard to slander my name and prevent the evidence from being seen? Because they committed felonies. And no, my word is not good enough. And when that lady the other day was trying to insinuate that, she outright lied. Many of the places that I was sent to, that I was told these are the places that are supposed to help me, I started talking to them. They tell me it's not their job, and I have to go talk to somebody else. When I tell them, hey, that somebody else told me that I got to come talk to you, they go, oh, well, you know, every agency's different. No, the laws are not different. The laws for mandated reporters are set in fucking stone. Any mandated reporter who does not follow their duty as a mandated reporter, such as that officer who assaulted a 14-year-old girl right here in this parking lot only a couple of months ago. And she was assaulted by who? She was assaulted by a sheriff's deputy. That's right. She tried to tell on her stepdad for abuse. It's recorded. Her friends were there to try to be there for moral support, but they were just kids. So their rights were railroaded and their predators coordinated. They have that poor girl discredited with a mentally ill tag because she tried telling on her stepdad. God bless America. Now, obviously, Corey is not bad if it's anything like what I've been through. Does that mean she's go off talking about herself? That mask one, that's the sense on it for all different places. They want to talk personally and pretend like they want to represent. She didn't follow protocol. Didn't feel that she needed to. Didn't think that it was necessary. And that's horrible. All it takes for evil to prevail is for good men to do nothing. Fuck this country and everybody in it. And I'm trying to think of somebody I have less respect for than veterans. There's a lot of people I have less respect for than veterans. Did I read a couple of So, tomorrow, the sheriff's department has to show up because they can't call the police department. They can't force me to go to the police department after they have retaliated against me repeatedly by abusing my disabilities. Not fucking okay. They also abuse their power by not doing their jobs as mandated reports, which they know.
They're super cool people.
Hippies? I agree. When you see a hobo walking down the street, you don't see a human being. You see a thief. You see a rapist. You see a serial killer. You know that as a homeless person, you are well over twice as likely to be murdered than be a murderer. So, the majority of homeless people murdered are not murdered by homeless people. They're murdered by people like you. People in housing. People who think that they should be allowed to do drugs in the privacy of their own home, but don't care if the cops harass you for doing drugs on the street. Or just pretend that you're doing drugs as an excuse to harm you. There's also this issue of hospitals writing down marijuana use or drug use without taking a fucking drug test just because you're trying to turn in cops. This is illegal too. But you have to bust them doing it. They're not going to do it if you got a friend or family who goes in with you and is fucking informed and gives a shit. They're not even gonna fucking try. The cops, by law, are supposed to coordinate with Adult Protective Services immediately. They have not, which has created a safety issue where I gotta be afraid for my life. Because the only people that I can go to for help are people like Lori. Is she gonna help? I don't see how she'll be helpful. Yeah, I could definitely help her out, but I don't see her being anywhere close to being capable of helping me out. Mentally, she is barely there. She got a strong mind, though. And you guys need to stop being pieces of shit and making people who are called mentally ill go in alone, you fucking pieces of shit. That is the number one reason why we fucking commit suicide, you dumb cunt. You pieces of shit. Those of you who pretend to care. But when we come to you about abuse, you fucking ignore it because you're pieces of shit. Don't call me friend if you're a piece of shit. I will call you out as a piece of shit. Now with Lori, I barely know her. She barely knows me. And she's already done more than nearly every single friend that I have in real life. She has done more with less money and only 2 days than probably 99% of my friends ever made an effort to do. And that's because she provided me with 2 things that are very important. A safe place, even if only temporarily, and social interaction, even if she didn't shut up. A lot of the stuff that she has to say is very important. It has to do with her cases and her situations. She likes art therapy. So do I. But the thing is, I didn't go to them for art therapy. I went to them to turn in mandated reporters and abusers. I believe the guy who, the 14-year-old girl who was trying to turn in her stepfather, I think he just got into a vehicle with like 8 other dudes. No, he's staring at me. He just turned around. I should have done that to begin with, but I thought he was already in the vehicle. I didn't realize he was going to turn back around and stare me down again. I mean, that's something that I wouldn't have to encounter if the cops had done their job for that 14-year-old girl. But they didn't. And the guy didn't come over here starting shit, did he? He just stared at me. That's fine. I'm fine with him just fucking staring at me. If he just wants to fucking stand there and stare at me, I'll... By procrastinating and not doing their jobs, they've made it impossible to dig up all of that evidence. Also, as far as what the lady said about just Tillamook, no, not only is it not just Tillamook, it's not just Oregon. And the laws and mandates show that. They show that when I am abused, they're supposed to coordinate, whether it's physical abuse, mental abuse, sexual abuse, financial abuse. They're supposed to work together with the victim. And you can tell whether or not they take you seriously based on whether or not they contact law enforcement and adult protective services immediately. Now, that mandated reporter that I spoke with at the Department of Health and Human Services, yes, she broke a lot of laws. She also did a lot of things that you're not supposed to do with adults, which leads me to believe she does work primarily with children. That stuff works on children. It annoys the fuck out of an adult. It's disheartening. Because you're not retarded. You're overwhelmed. You're not a 5-year-old. You're just overwhelmed. You don't need somebody to butter your biscuits to get you to share your story. See, that's the words that they use, right? The things they're taught to say. Veronica Bruce knew those things. She didn't say them, though. And a lot of other people that I knew that were mandated reporters and friends of mine that were mandated reporters didn't follow the law because, well, according to their excuses, they were afraid of losing their jobs. Do I care if they lose their jobs? No. People threaten to kill my friends and family, and some of my friends and family are fucking dead. I don't give a shit about your job. I don't give a shit about your reputation. I don't give a shit if everybody knows who you are because your face is up on my YouTube. Just so you know, most of you who are pissed off about that, people see those for about 2 to 3 days before they're buried in more videos that I made while having anxiety over the way you treated me. I'm scared to ask you for help because you're just going to treat me like shit. At nighttime, Shannon Alvarado is a lot like Lori, except Shannon is verbally abusive over and over and over again. You notice that I'm verbally abusive. Extremely verbally abusive. But you also have to do something wrong. Don't pretend to be my friend. Don't hang around if you're friends with my predators. You don't get to play both sides of the line. You are either those predators' friend or you are mine. And you have shown clearly that you are not my friend because you won't hear my side, look at my evidence. You won't hear a word I have to say. Now, there's a lot of people that are not like Lori. There's a lot of people that are like Shannon Alvarado is during the day, where she's too busy. She'll do it later on. She'll do it later on. We can do it tomorrow. We can do it after my daughter goes to sleep. But then every day she's setting it up so that when we're going to do it, it's going to be after 6 o'clock. And that is not acceptable because at 6 o'clock she starts drinking no matter what. That is her cutoff point for being able to stay sober. And then she gets angry with me because that's her way to cope. Well, I understand that's your way of coping. But your way of coping doesn't help anyone, not even you. Shannon Alvarado does need to come forward about the situation with Kara Johnson Miles. If Kara Johnson Miles can slander me from all the way in Texas, then Shannon Alvarado can stop being a piece of shit and help to fucking share the evidence about Kara Johnson Miles. But she's not going to do that. She's angry that I spoke up about how violent and scary the situation is. How am I supposed to process anything or get anything done when during the day I can't record because she's afraid somebody will accuse her of child abuse if they hear her daughter making noises? So I can't call any of the professionals that I need to call and get that taken care of. At night, she's busy drunk, screaming at people. There is no way to get anything done in that scenario. And then I have to worry about the dynamics of their familiarity. They will lie for their familiarity. A lot of women who are in abusive relationships will go to a man for help, and that man will help her out of an abusive relationship. And within 2 weeks, she's right back with the man who beat the living fuck out of her because familiarity. She couldn't handle being alone, or was afraid of the consequences of being alone, or was in a subservient environment. I did everything that I could to try to work together with law enforcement to stop the abuse against me, and they did everything that they could to work with my predators to prevent me from doing so. Now that lady yesterday constantly, or what was it, day before yesterday, constantly interrupting me at the very beginning with you're such a strong boy, you're such a strong boy. I didn't need my biscuits buttered. Every time you butter somebody's biscuits, you're interrupting their story, and that's the wrong thing to do. When you're asking them what they've done, you're intentionally confusing the situation because it is probably very complicated. You want it to be easy. You want it to be an episode of Gilligan's fucking Island where by the end of the episode the problem is resolved. But no, it's not really, is it? What's the moral of the story with Gilligan's Island? Is it that at the end of every single episode that the problem is resolved? No, the very first problem that they had was getting stranded on a fucking island with a busted boat. Now you would think, and I'm just putting this out there, that somebody there would have the brains to fix the fucking boat. Haul it up, shore it up, fix it, and forget it. If you sink on the way home, life happens. They had enough people on that boat that as long as they patch the hole, they can bail out the water for probably months. Without sinking. But at the end of that 30-minute episode, they're still on that fucking island. At the end of the first season, they're still on the island. All of the other problems that they're resolving to try to get off the island are all fucked up by an idiot. Real life is very much like Gilligan's Island. You've got a lot of problems that your friends need to understand, but they've been ignoring you for fucking ever. When you have an idea to fix it, then your bumbling idiot friend is going to fuck it all up by being an idiot. By making bad assumptions, by not understanding things but pretending that they do, by interrupting you to say they understand. And oftentimes when they do that, it's followed by a very long-winded story. A very long-winded story about how they understand. That problem with me not having the money to even take care of myself because of the expenses, and you want to send me $50, I don't need $50, I need your words. I needed your words years ago. I wouldn't have this money crunch if I had a fucking friend or family member I could go to when I was fucking being taken advantage of or fucking abused. But I can't trust the cops without a friend or family member. Look at how many cops I've told about that illegal firearm I was forced to make. They're supposed to get a hold of the FBI immediately. Yeah, I pay fucking attention. Whereas these cops are going out of their way not to. They're going out of their way to lie to victims, resulting in those victims being harmed repeatedly by their predators. Case in point, myself. The difference between my predators and myself is that I saved the evidence to show. I went to my friends and family for help turning in the abuse. What my friends and family wanted to do, instead of trying to stop the abuse, they wanted to talk about hurting and killing people. That shit makes me suicidal. That makes me want to die. That makes me not want to go to you for help because you're just going to talk about things you're not going to do. You're not going to try to help me turn it in. You're going to suggest that I kill people. Or you're going to talk about how if that happened to you, you would have shot somebody already. That's not help. That is changing the subject and making it about you. That's inappropriate and it doesn't help the victim. With Lori saying that she would help me, she hasn't stopped talking long enough to find out what's going on. Her heart's in the right place. It's in her chest where it's supposed to be. Same as mine. They say the road to hell is paved in good intentions. Like when somebody doesn't have the money to even take care of themselves. Their disability money has been taken away because of abuse. We'll use my dad as an example. My dad wasn't willing to listen to me or help me the way that I needed. He was just willing to promise to do so. But every time he had the opportunity, he'd talk over me, change the subject, or try to get me to do something he wants me to do. Motherfucker, I don't want to play your fucking trucker game demo. I have my own fucking video games, asshole. I don't need your fucking shit game demo. I play strategy games. Actual strategy games. Yes, I understand that when you've got a semi full of logs and you got to back it into a tight area, yeah, you do have to strategize how to get that thing back in there. But it's not fun or entertaining for me. And my dad wanted to force me to do that. Hey, Sean, why don't you, come on, just take 45 minutes, test it out for 45 minutes, Sean. Sean, have you looked at the Forex.com? Have you downloaded Forex.com to your computer yet? Have you tried the Forex.com? God damn it, Dad, I need help. You're doing everything but helping. Well, everything that you are doing to help is making it worse. Stop badgering me into doing things that aren't helpful. What did my dad ultimately result in doing? Illegally imprisoning me in a room in his house. On the bright side, I recorded it. I didn't get to record it at the time. I got to record the conversation with my dad. Oh yeah, it's real nice for you to treat the victim like they're a horrible person and call them a pussy because you're too much of a fucking coward to do anything except fucking bully your own son, Brian David Schwartz. There's lots of different personality types, but all of those personality types are cowardly. Every one of them. What's my personality type? I'm not a type A personality, and I'm not a type B personality. I would describe myself as a mean son of a bitch. Did I ever mention I'm proud of it? My phone's about to die. Now, the road to hell is paved in good intentions, and I have to pay attention to that. A lot of people may offer to do things, but when they've shown that they're not capable, why am I going back? When they've shown that they're unwilling to follow the laws, the simple laws. The laws regarding disabled and at-risk adults is so simple. It is never okay for me to be forced to go to the officers who committed crimes against me to turn in those crimes. I have evidence. They need to look at my evidence instead of saying, oh, well, we're only going to look at the evidence that is collected by your predators. No. That is never okay because that allows them to do what's called gaslighting as well as what's called framing. When you gaslight somebody to the point that they have a mental fucking breakdown and then you pretend they're a bad person because they had a mental breakdown over Thundercats ho! The 1980s were actually pretty cool on TV. As a man walked by with a Thundercat shirt on, and I just couldn't help myself. Now, when there's personality types like, well, what you have to deal with, all right, first I'm going to point out Dennis Dickinson's a fucking moron. He's an idiot. He gets in his head that he's right about something, and there is no change in his mind. He's a dickhead. That's why Brenda Dickinson, when she fucked up, was fine with me doing a whole day's worth of labor at her place, paying me $40, and then letting Dennis bully me out of the $40 because she has sworn me to secrecy about cleaning her house. So she lets him bully me and doesn't say a word. What did Brenda Dickinson get out of that? Free labor. That was when I was working on getting the money to go and see Natalie and Alicia in Virginia, and Rachel, and Haley Jean-Pierre. I was trying hard. When Natalie called me and told me that she was suicidal again over her family again, and that she was going to kill herself if I wasn't already on the road, you know what? Dennis Dickinson, not being a fucking douchebag, could have helped me to get on the road a lot fucking sooner. Jamie Curtis not getting a hold of me and telling me, hey Sean, I need a fucking hero, could have gotten me there a lot sooner. Maddie Boa not selling methamphetamines could have gotten us there a lot sooner. I did coordinate with these people. They were my friends. They knew I was planning the trip because they planned it with me. Now, these places saying they can't do anything about stuff that happened elsewhere. Actually, they have to. They are required by law to do that. I am being harmed no matter where I go as a disabled and at-risk adult, and nobody is actually helping me. I'm being pawned off from one place to another until I am victimized into moving so I can get away from my predators. Meanwhile, a lot of the time I don't have the money to move because I have to invest it all into fixing whatever it is that fell apart on my car. My car should not be being used this way. This is inappropriate. My Facebook and my YouTube shouldn't have to be used this way. It's inappropriate. I shouldn't have to make calls about rape and murder from inside of the Fred Meyer's Starbucks. It's inappropriate. It's also inappropriate that the only reason I'm forced to go through all this is because cops didn't want to do their jobs at any point in time. Now let's get back to my dad and his ginormous expenses. I called him from Shannon Alvarado's. Shannon's was a very scary place, and I had to be subservient while I was there, and I had to try to say nothing about her abuse, because if I did, she was going to snap at me the way she snapped at her boyfriend. And she did snap at me more than once the way that she snapped at her boyfriend. She didn't care. You can't say anything to an alcoholic about their alcoholism. You got to see with Veronica Bruce. She's one of the professionals that I went to for help stopping abuse before Natalie was killed. But what happened when I got a hold of her? She was fucking drunk. I tried to explain to her, hey, you know what? I'm having a lot of issues right now. I'm taking a lot of abuse. I don't have any help. Brenda is fucked up on her rheumatoid arthritis meds. I need help finishing the disability paperwork so the cops have to do their jobs. But I didn't get to explain any of that. How long did it take to explain that? About 30 seconds, maybe? Except that she was fucking drunk and wouldn't shut up. Veronica Bruce was recorded afterwards, too. Now, she blocked me. A lot of people blocked me for telling them how I feel. You're not allowed to tell a woman how you feel. We learned this McGruff shit in school, right? What we're supposed to do if we're being bullied. Well, a woman, you're not going to find a woman in the United States who cares. If you tell a man how him bullying you makes you feel, he might stop. He might make the connection. He probably won't. But you have a much higher chance of being heard by a male in that situation than you are by a female, because we have been taught that we're supposed to cater to females. We're supposed to protect women and children. And when we're abused, we're just supposed to man up and take it. That's why boys commit suicide at 5 times the rate of girls starting at the age of 15. And girls start cutting themselves at 5 times the rate of boys starting at the age of 15. Now, in both of those situations, it is a 2-part system. The first part, you're being abused. The second part, you're being ignored. Now, how's that possible that you're being abused and being ignored? If you're being abused, you're not being ignored. Well, neglect is abuse. So is sexual assault. If you're sexually assaulted by your dad, that's not going to push you to suicide alone. That alone will push nobody to commit suicide. It's when the victim goes to her mother, or to a preacher, or to a teacher, or to a police officer, or to their friend. And instead of doing something to stop it, well, you guys get to see. You get to see what it's really like. You get to see how we are paying a bunch of people for jobs they're not doing. How it is costing more money to recycle victims through the courts, the jails, and therapy. It is more expensive than it is for them to follow the actual laws. When you have to go to your rapist's friends or family to investigate, it's a conflict of interest, is it not? The fact that my predators in law enforcement reached out and worked together with my predators, including registered sex offenders, in order to prevent me from showing evidence against those sex offenders and those officers. They're still mandated reporters. You guys have any idea how many Oregon laws I have broken by recording the places that I've recorded? None. And I've researched the Oregon laws. There's a couple of things that I recorded that I was like, all right, I'm pretty sure I literally just recorded a felony. Because it's a felony to record certain people. But only under certain circumstances. So did I commit a felony? No. The circumstances fit. I'd gone to the agency on multiple occasions before. They did not do their jobs as mandated reporters. Recording live is absolutely necessary in some cases. Now, since I was forced to make it live, I have to try to watch my P's and Q's when I'm trying to talk to these people online. When I'm making a call or talking to the Department of Health and Human Services and I'm recording it, see, my friends and family could have helped me to come forward with it to these places without it having to be recorded publicly. But because they didn't make any effort, I have to record publicly for my safety. And then there's my dad wanting to pawn off a vehicle. I was grateful for that vehicle, but we needed to get me an income first. That meant that he needed to stop procrastinating, changing the rules, changing the rules, changing the rules. He needed to stop sending me to places by myself and making me do it by myself. And when he did go to places with me, because he did go to those places with me on a couple of occasions. And when he went in with me, we almost made progress. When I had to go in by myself, we went backwards in progress. And my dad claimed that he offered to go in with me every morning that I was there. No, he didn't. He kept on badgering me to go there by myself over and over again. Then, of course, the vehicle, I accepted it. He was going to help me to get my stuff back. But we needed to get my stuff back, including my income, before I could go investing in all of the money that it takes to keep and maintain a vehicle. But he didn't care about that. He cared about forcing me to do what he wanted, or he was going to harm me. And he did harm me. This is what happens when you force victims to go to their predators for help. When you tell me to go to my friends and family for help, and I tell you they're a bunch of goddamn selfish drug dealers, maybe you should take that into account. Instead of repeating it 100 times, Dallas Richmond could not wipe his own ass without assistance for over 7 months. Because he was too busy getting drunk and being a pussy, feeling sorry for himself. Just like my dad was too busy being a coward, being a pussy, and feeling sorry for himself. Oh, poor him. He bullied me, but he's the victim because I told the truth about it. Poor motherfucker. He's some sort of a victim because I posted up proof of what a fucking useless piece of shit he is. I also posted up evidence that I did, in fact, and indeed go to the police about these situations on multiple occasions. I'm told I should have called 911 right away. You know what? If there's a police officer right fucking there, and he is already talking to me. No, I did not call 911. There was no reason. The cop was already there. Did I ever mention fuck this country and everyone in it? We'll do the Maori thing for y'all. Now, when it comes to protecting the victims, we need to stop deciding guilt based on bias. We need to start actually looking at evidence, and we need to stop denying at-risk adults the services that we are paying for. We are paying for these services so that disabled people are not treated this way. Every day that they don't do their jobs to try to investigate the crimes or collect the evidence, they are knowingly, willingly, and intentionally helping predators to get away. When they don't take the victim seriously, that allows the predator access to the victim over and over again. Now, when it comes to gaslighting and gang stalking, like the situation with Natalie Bollinger, ignoring it until she was dead. D-E-A-D, dead. And it's not that I didn't go to my friends or family for help. It's not that I didn't go to police. It's not that I didn't go to therapists. It's that they all sent me around in circles and showed me they had no respect for me, did not care about my safety, my well-being, or the evidence, and were only willing to assist people in harming me. And then people's idea of help is to tell me to do shit that's really expensive. And if I'm in a subservient environment like I was at my dad's, I just have to take the abuse. and forcing something expensive upon me in exchange for getting help and not being stuck freezing to death in fucking Washington State is pretty fucked up. I needed help turning in my predators, and I need a friend or family member to do that. Did my dad make any attempt? No, and he's pissed off because he, like every one of these mandated reporters and every single one of my friends, wanted to do something that from a very young age I was taught not to trust. Never trust an adult who asks you to keep secrets. I will not keep your secrets. Kayla Trujillo thought I should keep her name safe in this. I tried. She fucked me over for it and took advantage of me. This is why it is not okay to trust your friends and family. If they will not help you to turn it in right away, or even hear what you have to say without interrupting you over and over again, get rid of them. They're wasted space. They're manipulators, and they will only take advantage of you. You are only their friend when they need help, and they will try to manipulate you with, oh, poor me, I have kids. Poor me, I have kids. Well, that's because you had unprotected sex while drunk because you're a fucking idiot. But then, when somebody needs help after helping you because you got kids, poor you, poor you, poor you, while you were using your kids to manipulate to get more free shit when you're already the most likely person to get free shit from the government, and then you want to manipulate other people into giving you more free stuff. You want to manipulate people who you claim to be friends with into them taking abuse for the rest of their life because those kids that you used as an excuse why you couldn't do anything for yourself and you needed help. When your friend needed help, you used those kids as your excuse why you couldn't. Well, you absolutely can. You're just a coward and a piece of shit. Now, how many of these people that I tried to turn in have a history of child abuse? Andrew Witcher, Amy Witcher, Amy Kalina Kingery, Joshua Rayborn, Rihanna Ingersoll. What did I try to turn all those people in for? Child abuse. Child abuse. How about Joshua Rayborn? Child abuse. History of it. Child abuse. What about Mark Richmond? History of child abuse. Rhonda Knudsen Rust. Rhonda didn't do any evil shit to me. Much like Lori, she's got her own mental problems. Lori obviously is not a bad person. Now, my dad, the road to hell is paved in good intentions. My dad didn't have good intentions. He didn't have good intentions at any point. He figured that we would start off at where we left off when I left his house in 1995. In 1995, my dad wanted me to make porno websites for him. I was 15 years old. It was 96 when I actually left his house. I'd been learning how to make porno websites for almost a year. But I wasn't learning very fast because I didn't have anyone to teach me. And it wasn't something that I fucking gave a shit about. Yeah, it would be cool to make websites. Sure. But just because I think something is cool doesn't mean that it's okay for my dad to force me to do that. Force me to try to work for free. Tell me that I'm doing it to pay my rent. I'm just teaching you how to earn your keep. Dude, you don't pay me, and I have a job with a former lawyer who is now a beekeeper, and I'm paying you money from that, and I'm 15 years old, dude. He wouldn't allow me to go to work with the beekeeper until after I'd already spent an hour to 2 hours working on learning how to make porno websites. He'd set a timer and everything. And I had to do it in the front room so he could see that I was doing it. He wanted to make sure that I was sitting there with that DOS for Dummies crap and a piece of shit computer. And no, it wasn't my computer. I finally was able to get my own computer because I worked for it. That's right, I earned that computer with my money, not my dad's. Someone calling themselves DJ My Singing Monsters typed, "What are you doing? Hello?" Well, I'm telling on mandated reporters and how them refusing to do their jobs resulted in Natalie Marie Bollinger getting her fucking brains blown out. Resulted in me being forced into homelessness. DJ My Singing Monsters typed, "Oh, okay, I see." "I see," said the blind man. I'm also citing examples of people who are on my YouTube channel. I also often cite examples of what's common in mainstream media. We care more about the Kardashians, Kanye West, Chris Rock, Jada Pinkett Smith, Will Smith, Britney Spears. And you get to see with Britney Spears how the term mentally ill made it so that she was forced. Well, you guys know the labor laws, don't you? Do any of you? By law, Britney Spears was human trafficked for over a decade. Literally over 10 years. Britney Spears was human trafficked for profit. Her rights were signed over to other people because she was not mentally capable of taking care of herself. Did that result in her friends and family helping her how they should have? Or did that result in her being victimized and being forced to fulfill legal obligations that she was not capable of doing mentally? If she's capable of going out there and doing that working, then those curators who have fought hard to maintain control over her, and specifically maintain control over her money, but that money eventually disappears if Britney Spears doesn't go to work. I didn't even like Britney Spears until she shaved her head, just so you know. So for Britney Spears, with these judges ruling against her while she's working, while she is still performing as a singer, that's thing is that her record label, her father, and 2 other curators are guilty of defrauding her, the American taxpayers. And there's mandated reporters, everybody who watched the Britney Spears case that didn't do their jobs as a mandated reporter. You guys really screwed up. Because you know the laws. You know that Britney Spears doesn't have to come to you and say, "Hey, my dad is being abused." It's televised for the world to see. So out of the millions of doctors and nurses and lawyers and clergy and police officers who saw that shit with Britney Spears on the news, how many of them wanted to do the arguing like a legal analyst on CNN? And how many of them fulfilled their obligations as a mandated reporter? If you see somebody threatening an at-risk adult on the internet, you're supposed to turn it in. If you see something on the internet where you're into true crime and you see that there's an at-risk adult who is being badgered and harassed in a web sleuth group because they don't have a mandated reporter and they're trying to get help. And you can see plainly that they are trying to get help. They're not there to bully people. They're not there to harm people, but they're being bullied for trying to get help. Then you are mandated to report that. You are required by law to report that. So many people in my case saw these things in these Natalie Bollinger situations and made no effort to turn it in. But if I did it, they would try to turn it in immediately, wouldn't they? Because by law, that's what they're supposed to do. So they're only willing to do what their mandated reporter job is to do after they have allowed gaslighting against an at-risk adult until that person has no other options except to act like they're predators to show that it's illegal. I bet you they arrest me if I do it. And how right was I? Meanwhile, they knew that that argument does stand up in court, and there are many legal precedents to that. I mean, when you've gone to mandated reporters over 100 times, it really does show how screwed up this country is. Now, Tamsin Bowles, is she speaking up for me? No. She found out about my channel and who I am and what I do, and yes, I am willing to fight for her rights. I understand her situation to some degree. But also, the one thing that is the common denominator is the term mentally ill. The term mentally ill is used to deny our rights to our First Amendment. The term mentally ill is supposed to be a key word that incites those people to do their jobs as mandated reporters. If you're a nurse at a hospital and you're doing book work at the end of your shift and you are off your shift in 5 minutes, you just got to finish the paperwork, and an at-risk adult comes in off the streets and tells you that they were just assaulted, I know you just want to finish that paperwork and go home. I know you do. And I know it sucks that you're not allowed at that point. So you do something you're not supposed to. You blow them off because you're exhausted. You've been working long hours. It's been a long day. Your brain is barely functional. And you just want to go home and lay down, and maybe whoever you send them to will help them, and you hope that they will. You also hope at that point that they don't try to turn you in because you broke the law, because you just wanted to go home. I understand you just wanted to go home. I just want to go home too. My home isn't a place, it's people. Natalie Bollinger was home because she made me feel safe. Stephen McMillian was home because he made me feel safe. Eric Schwartz was home because he made me feel safe. Oh God, my eyes. No, if I have a mental breakdown, I get treated like I'm a violent monster who's going to hurt someone. No, you need to let people commit the crime before you charge them with it. I was illegally prevented from turning in my predators. It's not that I didn't try. It's that people kept on disrespecting me and lying to me about what the law states. Now, Miss Lori, she may get very, very, very angry at me because she's recorded, but she knows I record everything. She may get angry with me about recording it. I'm aware of that. I'm aware that that's a possibility. But also, I would hope that she would understand that it's not out of animosity. It's because if I don't show that it happened, then my predators get to pretend it didn't. Your words being on my YouTube channel just means that they're available, but I still need a place to process it to get your words heard. And they're not going to follow the laws as far as allowing me a place to process that. And they're not going to pay attention to the fact that I lost everything that I had. My ability to have a place to do that was taken away from me because of Natalie Bollinger getting her brains blown out. You also get to see how their friends and family made my life a living hell, but none of you gave a fuck. While my predators had their friends and family gaslight the shit out of me and victimize the shit out of me, I get treated like I'm a horrible person because I asked for help from my friends turning in the evidence, turning in my predators. But they didn't care. They all played stupid. You don't know how to speak up? I guarantee you if somebody rapes your daughter, you're going to learn how to speak up in about 10 fucking seconds. I guarantee you, if your sister goes missing, you're going to learn how to speak up in about 10 fucking seconds. I guarantee you that if something happens to one of your rich and famous heroes, you're going to speak up in about 10 fucking seconds. How long did it take for those of you who think Jada Pinkett Smith is the best thing since sliced bread? How long did it take for you to start making memes and posting up about how poor Jada Pinkett Smith is the victim? That's speaking up. How about those of you who are on Will Smith's side? Hey, Will Smith is the innocent victim in all this, despite the fact that he physically assaulted somebody. And how many of y'all think that Chris Rock is the innocent victim? Of course, we get to go around in circles. Chris Rock is a horrible monster because he made a joke, and he must have made that joke before, and even though Will Smith laughed at it, it's okay for him to go assault somebody because his woman feels offended. And you guys all spoke up about that, didn't you? And the Johnny Depp and the Amber Heard thing. And what did I do? I posted up what pieces of shit you are for doing that. For ignoring actual victims and messing around with a bunch of Hollywood pedophiles for entertainment. They don't give two shits about you. This right here, as an at-risk and disabled adult, this right here is grounds to lock me up in a facility. I can be put in the state hospital because of the conditions that I live in. By law, though, they're not supposed to take me to the state hospital. They're supposed to call the emergency services in the area and coordinate to have a hotel room set up for a week. And coordinate for people to come to see me at that hotel room and assist me with everything that I need assistance with. How expensive is it to rent a motel room for a week? There's a lot of dirty tricks they pulled. Here, Hood River, the Dalles, Nebraska. Fact is, all of these people take federal money, and these things have happened across multiple jurisdictions and multiple states. The person that this lady is required to call, well, she's required to have an Adult Protective Services investigator show up, and the first thing they're supposed to do is secure my safety and the evidence. At no point in time has anybody made any attempt at that. Now, when it comes to finally getting a safe place, a room for a week, That wasn't done through the sheriff's department or the police department because those were my predators. That had to be done through Capwin. Capwyn. They rented me a room for a week. I was arrested my second day there. Finally, I had a safe place where I wasn't stuck with a fucking alcoholic or a fucking meth junkie or people constantly fucking scream at each other or requiring me to jump through a bunch of hoops to even be there. Mandated reporters did everything that they could to cut me off from the resources that civilians assisted me in getting. Didn't matter how much work I did, because these people didn't come forward about it. Now, anybody who watches this channel who does not actively try to turn in the things that I'm telling you, if you're a nurse, a doctor, a police officer, no matter what state you are in, you are required to turn this in. There is no jurisdiction. None. It does not exist in these cases.